strike. No one's saving those.
You need to be able to get those kind of stories out, because too many people talk about how Asian parents do not support their children because, you know, they have to go to the mosque and stuff like that. So I think it's something that we can touch on a little bit later on. But Anish, thanks for sharing that for now. Taff, is it a similar story for you? I know that you were at that club that I can't really say down the road.
Hey,
but yeah.
listen, they're doing well.
So, you know, that was your career as a youngster. I mean, what happened with you?
Yeah, no, similar to Anish. I started playing grassroots football locally within the Harrow Youth League, and before I got to Arsenal, I was actually playing for Luton Town. So I actually got a feel for how the lower league clubs actually operate, and that gave me a great insight. Then moved on from there to QPR, which was like my local club because I used to live in around Hendon, West Hendon.
Okay.
But after I got picked up by Arsenal, where I was 11 years old, and spent from then until under 18s going through the youth system. Fortunately, I was one of the players who got selected to go on the very first school-based, education-based programs, which was really good in terms of, but it was the pilot one, so there was something new for us as well. But gave me the opportunity to actually do my education at the same time, play football, and it did help me a lot to actually really cement the technical parts of the game, having that extra contact time with the coaches. So no, it was a good journey. Got to play under some great coaches like Don Howe, who managed England, Neil Banfield, who's at the moment the reserve team manager, and also like Liam Brady, who's been a club legend at Arsenal from day one. So yeah, the journey has been good, and got a lot out of it.
In terms of playing then, your age range, what kind of recognisable players were there playing like within your side?
Within my group, you had the people like David Bentley, Jermaine Pennant, Ashley Cohen, and those just on the years above. So yeah, got to play with a lot of good players. I remember the '98 World Cup. What was it? '98 World Cup, when Thierry, Henry, Robert Perez returned. Actually got to train with them too, because you know when you get that extra 10 days off.
We're sitting next to some.
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
I know, right?
They're really pulling some names out.
Yeah, well, I don't
I'm not going to share my names. That's
no, I don't
tell you what.
No.
They just cruise.
Fantastic.
How would someone actually? I don't know. When you've won the World Cup, how do you walk? How do you talk? I can just feel it. They've got the medal around their neck.
Thierry, he doesn't even walk. He just flows like water, doesn't he? Amazing.
It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable, and you can feel that aura. You can feel that aura within the training. So, yeah, like being around those kind of players really inspired me. I remember one time I was injured and had the chance of training with Dennis Bergkamp. So he was doing a lot of finishing, and he is probably the perfectionist at doing any kind of drill, whatever it is.
Fantastic.
And I just remember, like, I'm thinking back now, he actually just completely turned down the volume in the whole training ground. It's almost like he switched off the wind, switched off everyone's noise. I'm like, I can't hear nothing. All I can see him just stroking the ball, top corner, finished, one after another. It's just something different. Some players just have that, I don't know, they just go into that zone and they attract other players into it as well. They have that kind of capacity. So
fantastic insight, brilliant.
Things like that was unbelievable.
So what happened at 18 then? You said you was at Arsenal up until 18.
I had a horrendous probably a year and a half in terms of injuries and life and bereavements, and things didn't go well. And being cancer, I lost my mum through cancer around that time as well. So it was both a training-based injury. I'd done my knee and I tore my hamstring, but also psychological in terms of what's happening in life. So it's difficult, and I couldn't quite progress on. So unfortunately, parted company with Arsenal, and then went on to play at a few other different clubs, dropping down the leagues and playing in the conference. Also went to America, but I just wasn't settled in the mind then. So I came back and continued playing. Got injured again. Got injured again,
so
and
it's
that was it.
It's a similar story with both of you in terms of injury has kind of curtailed your career at the level, you know, at a very good level. And it's about finding a pathway from there. And what I'm fascinated in, and we'll probably bring it up a little bit later on, is why you then remained in the game. You know, you talk about your experiences with Thierry Henry, you talk about your experiences with Paul Gascoigne, and I'm sitting here going, I'm looking at you two slightly different now. But, you know, you've taken a journey that has made you now give back. And I suppose that's the story that sometimes we don't hear enough.
And I think coming back to what we talked about, support mechanisms, I think I felt a bit more lost because I was one of the very few from an Asian background and didn't have that support mechanism to actually guide me.
Yes.
So I felt like I was on the journey, but I think sometimes you need people around you to keep you without going off the trail.
For me, what is so enlightening now is that we talk about, we're looking at Asian footballers now. There's a real high focus, and a lot of people say that there's no role models out there for Asian players to aspire to. Well, I'm looking at you two straight away and just thinking to myself, well, you are such fascinating stories behind you that, I don't know how wide it is out there, but you're going to be an inspiration to so many. Regardless of how far you got in your careers, you're actually giving back so much.
Strike, no one's saving those.